These islands, the Channel Islands, are our home. Once there were many of us here, living peacefully for millennia. Things have changed a lot in the past couple decades, though.
This is the story of the island fox.
We came to these islands thousands of years ago, so we look a little different than our cousins on the continent. We're smaller, and we've got a different number of tailbones. I think we're cuter, too.
You might be wondering how we got here. In the last ice age, when the sea level was lower, the islands were one big island and weren't so far from the mainland. There are two ideas about the origin of foxes on the Channel Islands. The first one is that the native Chumash people brought us here in their canoes when they themselves sought a new home in the islands.
The second idea is that a huge storm came and washed some of our ancestors out to sea, along with lots of other stuff, like trees and plants and dirt. Anything that floated, we held on to. Miles and miles of ocean, so terrifying for an animal that can't even swim. But a long while later, we found our new home, and we've been here ever since.
You could even say we were California's first surfers.
Our relationship with humans and the change they've brought, though, has been
A little complicated.
The Chumash people saw us as sacred animals and aided our migration to some of the Channel Islands in the south. We're depicted in some of their art, and at times the Chumash even gave island foxes special burials when some of us passed away. We lived side by side with them for a long, long time.
When European and American settlers came, they brought hundreds of new species of plants and animals like fennel, annual grasses, blue gum eucalyptus, and rabbits, sheep, goats, cows,
Bison?
and pigs
Oh no, not the pigs!
that pushed out and destroyed populations of endemic fauna and flora.
Oh my, those pigs. They would dig up everything.
Soon, much of the native vegetation was lost, some forever. The islands looked very different now.
Then a completely different threat to us came in the last century.
Disco music, sliced bread, reality TV?
No, humans began spraying a pesticide, DDT.
Yes, dichlorodiphenyl trichloroethane.
What?
1,1 prime, 2,2,2 trichloroethane, 1,1 dial, bis, 4-chlorobenzene.
Are you still speaking in Fox?
I mean DDT.
Okay. Anyways, humans began spraying a pesticide, DDT, that worked beautifully on insects, but it had some ugly side effects.
Birds would sit down in their nests to incubate their eggs and then crack. The little baby birds would be no more. DDT had caused the eggshells to be so thin that mother birds were only left with very sticky, very empty nests when they came to warm their eggs.
DDT caused bald eagle populations all over the country to plummet, including around the Channel Islands, where they completely disappeared.
Bald eagles were good fellows, even though they always looked angry.
Yes, and importantly, they only fed on fish, and not on us. Even after DDT was banned, though, the bald eagles didn't return to the islands, but golden eagles, a much more common bird, came in to replace them.
They thought we were tasty, huh?
Yes, they did. Really tasty.
These birds that were 4 times bigger than the island fox began snacking on us with a side of feral piglets. It was like a hometown buffet on the islands for the golden eagles.
The 1990s was a perfect storm for declining island fox populations, because just as the golden eagle was poaching this new food source, a disease known as canine distemper was introduced by dogs or raccoons, killing over 90% of the foxes on Santa Catalina Island.
By the end of the century, none of the islands had a population over 200. Santa Cruz Island, the largest of the Channel Islands, had over 2,000 foxes in 1994. By 2000, only 135 remained. What about now, though?
Well, those pesky humans can do good for us, apparently.
Darn, really? What are they up to now?
In 2004, the humans listed island foxes as a federally protected endangered species under the Endangered Species Act. The Northern Islands had already been protected as a national park since 1980. Island foxes couldn't find each other to mate because there were so few of them left, while golden eagles and disease continued to chip away at their numbers. So humans brought them into captive breeding programs.
Did it work?
Because of the humans, foxes could get busy, and boy did they get busy. When they began, there were only 15 foxes each on San Miguel and Santa Rosa Islands. Now there are 1,200 and 700 on each. Today, there are over 2,000 foxes on Santa Cruz Island, more than before the decline.
Wow, I guess the humans aren't so bad after all.
Yes, and at the same time, feral pigs, sheep, and goats were being removed from many of the islands, And remember those awfully hungry golden eagles? They were being forcefully moved elsewhere to make way for the return of an old friend.
Bald eagles? Woohoo! Wow, so humans have almost remade the ecosystem of the Channel Islands twice now. So even though humans did a lot of this damage, introducing invasive species, spraying DDT, and pushing out the native plants and animals, you're telling me they're successfully making up for it on the Channel Islands? That's awesome!
It really is. Humans may have brought us into the islands, and they've shaped our evolution for thousands of years, for better or for worse. I don't think humans would want to live in a world without the island fox. We are, after all, so darn cute.